भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, text number 38 and 39. I will recite text 38 and we will recite text 39 together. Text 38. Janant eva janantu kim bahuktyana me prabho manaso vapusho vacho vaibhavam tava gocharaha. Translation and purport given by Disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. O my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body and words. Purport. The translation is quoted from Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 21, text 27. Now we'll recite verse 39 together. Anujanihi Mam Krishna Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik Tvam Eva Jagatam Nathaha Jagat Etat Tava Arpitam. Anujanihi Mam Krishna Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik Tvameva Jagatam Natho Jagade Tattvarpitam. Anujanihi Mam Krishna Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik Tvameva Jagatam Natho Jagat Etat Tavarpitam. Anujanihi Mam Krishna Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik Tvameva Jagatam Natho Jagat Etat Tavarpitam. Anujanihi Mam Krishna Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik Tvameva Jagatam Natho Jagat Etat Tavarpitam. Mataji's plus. Okay. Anujanihi Mam Krishna Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik Tvameva Jagatam Natho Jagat Etat Tavarpitam. Anujanihi, please give leave. Mam, to me. Krishna, O Lord Krishna. Sarvam, everything. Tvam, you. Vedsi, no. Sarvadrik, all seeing. Tvam, you. Eva, alone. Jagatam, of all the universes. Nathaha, the master. Jagat, universe. Etad, this. Tava, to you. Arpitam, is offered. Translation and purport given by His disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: My dear Krishna, I now humbly request permission to leave. Actually, you are the knower and seer of all things. Indeed, you are the Lord of all the universes, and yet I offer this one universe unto you. Purport: in his Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada has quoted Lord Brahma as follows: My dear Lord, although you are the Supreme Lord of all creation, I sometimes falsely think that I am the master of this universe. I may be master of this universe, but there are innumerable universes, and there are also innumerable Brahmas who preside over these universes. But actually, you are the master of them all. As the supreme, as the super soul in everyone's heart, you know everything. Please, therefore, accept me as your surrendered servant. I hope that you will excuse me for disturbing you in your pastimes with your friends and calves. Now, if you will kindly allow me, I will immediately leave so you can enjoy your friends and calves without my presence. The words Sarvam Tvam Vedsi Sarvadrik are very significant here. Lord Krishna knows everything and sees everything. And therefore, Lord Brahma did not need to remain in Vrindavan to maintain his personal living contact with the Lord. In fact, as the creator of the universe, Lord Brahma was somewhat out of place in the simple, blissful atmosphere of Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna was exhibiting his supreme opulences in herding cows, enjoying picnics, playing games, and so on. Upon seeing the intense love the residents of Vrindavan had for Lord Krishna, Brahma felt unqualified to remain there. He was not eager to give up the Lord's association, but he felt it better to return to his personal devotional service in Brahmaloka. Somewhat embarrassed and unhappy over his foolish attempt at bewildering the Lord, Brahma preferred to resume his transcendental loving service rather than try to enjoy the Lord's presence. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasha Swami Namni. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namni. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatan. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna to everyone. So here we see that Lord Brahma has finished his prayers. Verse number 38 is the last verse where Lord Brahma finishes his prayers. And verse number 39 he's asking for permission to leave. If we see right from verse number 1 till verse number 38, Lord Brahma is offering prayers to Krishna. He is showing his reverence to Krishna. He is narrating his self-realization to Krishna. He is showing his humility to Krishna. He is begging for forgiveness from Krishna, the mistakes what he has performed in the past. Why he is doing all this? If we see, the whole chapter is dedicated to Lord Brahma's prayers. Right from verse number 1 till verse number 38, Lord Brahma is praying to Krishna, and Krishna is simply hearing those prayers. Why Brahma is praying to Krishna? Because he understood the fact that Krishna is no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Lord. But what kind of Lord he is? He is just a 6-year-old cowherd boy. Brahma is in front of 6-year-old cowherd boy, keeping curd rice in his hands and just standing in front of him. To that particular boy, Brahma is offering prayers. Why? Because Brahma understood that this boy, cowherd boy, Krishna, is Lord, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Bhagwan. But if we look at, if we see in the Shastra, the definition of Bhagwan given is as Aishwaryasya, Viryasya, Yashasya, Shriya, Jnana, Vairagya. Who is Bhagwan? Who possesses these six opulences. He is the most powerful, he is the most beautiful, he is most influential, he is most richest, he is most renunciant, and he is most powerful again. So that is what the definition of Bhagwan is. And Brahma is offering prayers to a 6-year-old cowherd boy. If we look at this, it's really mystical to understand, we would say. And that's what Brahma is pointing. Right from verse number 1 till verse number 38, Brahma is telling that it is very difficult to understand you. My Lord, Krishna, it's very difficult to understand you. Why? Because because Krishna's qualities are inconceivable and limitless. That is the point Brahma is making. All 38 verses, if we see, Brahma is telling the same thing, asking for the forgiveness and telling that it is so difficult to understand you. Even I am the most intelligent person of this universe, but I have failed to understand you. Because it is very difficult to understand Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatadamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. In that particular verse, Prabhupada says, in the purport, in the translation, Prabhupada says, out of many thousands among men, one may endure for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So if we see, we all know that there are 8,400,000 of species. Through Shastras we read, we understand, and out of those 8,400,000 species, only 400,000 species are of human forms. But even this 400,000 of species, all 8,400,000 of species are engaged in Ahara Nidra Bhaya Maithun. There is a Hitopanishad shloka, is very famous shloka, Ahara Nidra Bhaya Maithunam cha Samanya etat Pashubhi Naranam Dharmo Hitesham Adhiko Vishesho Dharme Nahina Pashubhi Samanam. So we see that 8 million species are engaged in eating, sleeping, defending and mating. And then remaining 400 human life species are also engaged in the same activity, eating, sleeping, defending and mating. There is no difference between them because they are not using their intelligence to understand their real position. In this 400,000 species, we see that they don't understand the futility of this material world. How ineffective and useless this material world is. Recently, there is one news really going up in the YouTube and newspapers that one of the Bangalore techie has committed suicide. Now, why he has to commit suicide? A simple question. He was materially doing really good. He was in one of the topmost company. He was working for one of the topmost company. He was married. He had a kid. Definitely he must be having parents. He must be having house. He must be having car. Then what is the reason behind it? Why he has to commit suicide? Because there are conflicts between husband and wife. There are conflicts between him and his in-laws. So we see in this material world, every moment, there is padam vipadam hitesham. Every moment there is some danger. There are conflicts. There is a conflict between brothers and brothers. There is a conflict between husband and wife. There is conflict between friends. There are conflict between states. There are conflict between countries. Each and everyone has a conflict because each and everyone is considering themselves as body. They want to enjoy this material world. They want to enjoy by exploiting others. That is the main problem of this material world. When this futility of material nature one understands, then that set of people tries to look for some process. But they mostly end up in the process of Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, or Hatha Yoga. If we see in this material world nowadays, this yoga is nothing but just a gymnastic. This yoga is meant for doing some exercises. This is weight loss program. This is what the yoga means nowadays. But even if one is really interested in this kind of yoga, that Hatha Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, they end up in impersonal realization of God. That is what Sanatana Goswami, when he comments on this verse, when he writes a commentary on this particular verse, 38, he summarizes glories of bhakti and insignificance of Jnana Yoga. Because this Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, even if one is really trying his best to do it and understand Krishna, even though he will not be able to understand Krishna, at the most he reaches to impersonal realization of the Lord. That's what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. Prabhupada says that this transcendentalist may achieve impersonal Brahman realization. Krishna is the Supreme Person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sripad Shankaracharya, has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But his followers do not accept Krishna as such. For it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. And that's the reason Prabhupada says that this is a spiritual suicide. That one wants to give up their identity, one wants to give up their relationship with Krishna. When one wants to understand self, one wants to understand this material nature, one wants to understand who is Supreme, who is Bhagwan, and what is my relationship with Bhagwan. In that process, if you want to give up that particular identity, it is nothing but a spiritual suicide. Shankaracharya told that who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still his followers not accepting. They are saying that Krishna is Nirguna, Nirakara. Yes, he is Nirguna. Why he is Nirguna? Because his qualities are inconceivable. His qualities are limitless. His qualities are not like an ordinary person. Yes, he is Nirakar. But one has to understand how he is Nirakar. Nirakar does not mean that he does not have form. He has a form, but his form is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Our form is Asat, Achit and Nirananda. That is the difference between us and Krishna. That is what Brahma has realized. Brahma has understood this fact. Brahma wanted to understand Krishna by his powers, but then he understood that his powers are also coming from Krishna. That is what Sanatana Goswami is saying. That is what the insignificance of Jnana Yoga is. One must receive knowledge. There is no alternative to receive knowledge. One must receive knowledge. But how one must receive knowledge? There is a process, and that process is Bhakti Yoga only. One must receive knowledge through Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti de Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. One must receive knowledge through a disciplic succession, and therefore one must surrender to spiritual master. Spiritual master is the one who explains the knowledge of absolute truth through Shastras, through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. He explains the knowledge of absolute through Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam Anukulena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. He explains this knowledge. He says that what is good, what is bad. He tells us that okay, everything is bad in this material world. This is not our place. Our place is somewhere else. That's what Brahma has realized. When Brahma has realized, when he surrendered himself to Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's what the Bhakti Yoga teaches us. Bhakti Yoga tells us to surrender. Tells us to surrender onto the feet of spiritual master. Who has understood Tattva. Who has understood who the Supreme Personality of Godhead he is through the disciplic succession. He has understood the Tattva through Aroha Pantha, not Avaroha Pantha. But if we see here, Brahma is saying that verse number 38, Brahma is mentioning that I know there are people who says that I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. Brahma is saying, let them think that way. I am the most intelligent person sitting here. I have created this universe. Verse number 39 is saying that I am considering myself as master of this universe. I was falsely considering myself master. I may be considering myself as a master of this universe. I know that I am not the master of this universe. I know I am committing this. I am realizing the fact that I don't know anything. But there are people, there are speculators, there are so-called Gyanis, there are so-called philosophers. With their blunt senses, they are trying to understand Krishna. But they don't know that to understand Krishna is so difficult. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Manushyanam sahastreshu Kashchit yatati siddhaye yatadamapi siddhanam Kashchin mam vetti tattvaha. To understand me, it is very difficult. There are millions of people who are trying to achieve perfection. One achieves perfection. Like that, there are millions who have achieved perfection, are trying to understand Krishna, but it is so difficult. Because they are following the process different than Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means pure devotional service. And the first thing in Bhakti Yoga is that to perform pure devotional service, one has to surrender. Sarva dharman paritteja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Give up all these so-called religious activities, so-called religion. Give up and just simply surrender unto me. I will take care of you. That is what Krishna's guarantee is. This is what is mentioned here by Brahma also. He is now further he will call Krishna with his qualities. He will call Krishna as bestowing happiness on Vrishnikula. He is calling in verse number 40 that Vrishnikulena, he is bestowing happiness on Vrishnikula. He is Yashomati Nandana, he is a Nandanandana. He is causes of all causes. He is a Parthasarthi. Because unless one does not understand qualities of Krishna, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. Unless one does not understand how great, how inconceivable his qualities are, it is really difficult to understand Krishna. And that can be understood by one who surrenders onto the Supreme, onto the spiritual master. And that's the reason this verse that Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Rupa Goswami mentions in 1.11 that Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. He says that Krishnanushilanam, one has to perform devotional service, pure devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the disciplic succession, not by so-called speculative knowledge. Nowadays there is one Acharya, he is saying that what these Hare Krishna devotees are, they are simply dancing on the street and distributing Bhagavad Gita, selling Bhagavad Gita and eating prasadam, they are in the temple. What is that? By this, are they going to understand who the Supreme is? No, they will not be able to understand. But sir, you are wrong. We will be able to understand because we are following the disciplic succession. Our spiritual master asked us, Prabhupada told us, what to speak about Prabhupada? Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told us that Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama eva kevalam kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyatha. That there is no way than chanting the holy name of the Lord. Nowadays there is one more lecture is becoming very famous. One lady is claiming that Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Shiva and not by Krishna. Such a rascaldom it is, such a foolishness. That she is saying that Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Shiva, not by Krishna. This is what their limited knowledge is. And through this limited knowledge, one cannot understand the Supreme Person. So I'll just take a pause here. I've been asked to stop at 8:15 because most of us are going for book distribution, and we need to have some time to prepare for that. So please, if you have any questions, comments, please let me know. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.